Hey guys, it's Miss Price. Wanted to finish chapter 13 and continue on trying to want to try and finish the book if we can. So this is the continuation of chapter 13. Sancho was unhappy about this trip. He wanted to stay with the Duchess, where his master went to fight. But Don Quixote said he must go or the spell wouldn't be broken. Clavino came on the shoulders of four big, monstrous looking men. One of the monsters said that both riders should be blindfolded and should remain blindfolded until the horses neighed. Don Quixote mounted willingly, Sancho less willingly. The master squeezed the wooden peg, and the veiled women started shouting their good wishes. God be with you. Look at that, fast as an arrow. Sancho, hold tight, don't fall. Master, Sancho asked, how can we be flying so high if we still hear their voices? This is no ordinary adventure, Don Quixote answered. Don't pay attention to that. Don't be afraid, Sancho. Master, I feel so much air. It feels like bellows. Sancho was right. The pranksters were blowing air from bellows to make the riders believe they were flying. But Don Quixote said they were arriving at the second region of space where hail and snow come from. After this, in the third region, there's fire, he predicted. After having fun for a while, the people decided to end the adventure. They set fire to Clavijo's tail. The horse was full of firecrackers. It flew into hundreds of pieces. Don Quixote and Sancho were thrown to the ground, half scorched. Knight and squire got up in pitiful shape. They were astonished to see themselves in the same garden they had left. So many people were lying on the ground too. They were even more astonished when they saw the sign hanging from a lance. The renowned Don Quixote de la Mancha ended the adventure of Countess Trifaldi on the first try. Malambruno is satisfied. The beards of the young women are gone. Don Clavijo and Dona Anastasia are returned to their previous shapes. The Duke and Duchess woke up as surprised as the others. The Duke read this sign too, and with open arms went to embrace Don Quixote, the best knight of all times. Sancho was asked about the trip. Oh, I have many stars. Some looked like little bears. He said Duke and Duchess would have something to laugh about for a long time, and Sancho something to remember and talk about his life, all his life. Okay. So I'm going to have you all read chapter 14, Don Quixote advises Sancho, and you'll find that this is a really good chapter. It's not where Don Quixote seems like he's crazy like in the other chapters. This is actually where he gives Sancho really good advice. And some of it is really something that we can kind of think about too in our lives. Okay. So read it. And it's right here for you, okay? You may have to pause some to read the whole thing, but that's okay. And then we'll continue. All right. Okay. All right. Chapter 15. Sancho, governor for life. So we've got 10 words here for the next three chapters. So there's a good bit here. We have Sancho, governor for life, danger at the island, and Sancho's wisest decision. And we've got number one, which is reason. It's a verb, to think in a sensible and logical way. Partridge is a noun. It's a bird that is hunted and eaten for food. Commotion is a noun, and it's noise. Ingenuity is a noun, skill or cleverness that allows someone to create something or solve a problem. Reluctantly is an adverb done with hesitation or unwillingness. Agony is a noun, and it is extreme pain. Now, this next one, guys, is not what you think. So I know that somebody's probably going to, make fun of it, but it's booty and it's a noun. Valuable goods or money taken as a prize after victory. Administration is a noun, it's government. Resign is a verb, it's to give up a job in an official way. Dignity is a noun, it's calm behavior and self control. Okay, and let's see here. All right, so I'll read 15 and 16, and then I'll let you all read 17 on your own. Okay. Chapter 15, Sancho Governor for Life. Sancho left for the island, a gentleman on a fine horse. The Duke's butler and a large group escorted him. Rusio the donkey walked behind, adorned with ribbons and bows. His owner turned back occasionally to look at him fondly. They soon arrived in a village about 1,000 people. This was, Sancho was told, Barataria Island. The truth is, it is not an island at all. It was just one of those small towns and villages that used to be under a nobleman's protection. The nobleman in this case was the Duke. Like many other towns and villages in the old days, this one was surrounded by walls as protection against enemies. The villagers had been told of Sancho's arrival. Everybody was there to greet him, and the church bells rang in celebration. There was a big Thanksgiving service in the church, and at the end of it, Sancho was given the keys to the town in a most ridiculous ceremony. We hereby declare you, Honorable Sancho Panza, governor for life of Barataria Island, said a man who called himself an alderman. Long live our governor for life, the people cried. From the church he was taken to the courthouse. The next part of the ceremony called for the new governor to answer a few difficult questions. That's the way for people to know what kind of governor they have, the Duke's butler said. If he's smart, the people are happy. If he's stupid, they're sad. Several cases were brought before his honor. There were many quarrels among people who didn't get along with one another. And there was an interesting case, a dispute between a tailor and a farmer. Your Honor, the tailor said, this man brought me a piece of cloth to make a cape for him. Then he said he wanted 2 capes out of the same piece of fabric. Then he said, make me 3, then make me 4 then. Make me 5. I made him 5 capes. Now he comes to get them and he doesn't want to pay me. Is the tailor telling the truth? Sancho asked the farmer. Well, Your Honor, I did ask him to make a cape, and in the end I asked for 5, said the farmer. But Your Honor, ask him to show you what he made. The capes are so little they are useless. They are only good for children to play with. The tailor showed the 5 capes, 5 tiny capes. Everyone wondered which man would win the case. Sancho thought for a minute and said, the whole dispute seems silly. One man didn't give all the information needed. He didn't give measurements, he didn't give sizes. The other one didn't even bother to ask for the information. My decision is the farmer loses his cloth and the tailor loses his work. The case is closed. The people were very surprised at their governor. They had not expected a man who would reason so well. But then Sancho had a lot of common sense. From the courthouse, Sancho and the official party went to the palace that was to become his residence. Chapter 16. Danger at the island. The governor's palace was large and rich. Sancho arrived to the sound of trumpets. He was greeted by 4 pages who escorted him to the dining room. There was a large table overflowing with delicious foods and only 1 chair. A page put a bib on him. Another placed a bowl of fresh fruit before him. Sancho had taken only 1 bite when a man standing beside him touched the plate with a stick, and presto, the bowl was removed. The butler brought another plate. Sancho didn't even get a taste before the man with the stick had it taken away. The governor was annoyed. What kind of game was this? The man with the stick said, Sir, I am the official physician of the governor of this island. I am present at all his meals. I make sure he is healthy and fit. I do not allow him to eat what I do not consider good for him. In that case, Sancho said, those partridges will be fine for me. Don't even mention them, the doctor said. Our great Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said that a bellyful is bad, and if it is a bellyful of partridges, it is worse. Well, Mr. Doctor, find something good for me to eat. I'm starving. How about some of that beef stew? He asked. Strictly forbidden, answered the doctor. There is nothing worse than beef stew. Now Sancho was really angry. Looking at the doctor, sizing him up from head to toe, he roared, You quack! Out of my sight! Quick, or I'll have all doctors in this island beaten to death on your account. Move, I said, or I'll break this chair on your head. I want food, or I give up the governorship. A job that doesn't feed you is not worth the butler, running all excited with a letter from the Duke. The envelope read, To the Honorable Don Sancho Panza, Governor of Barataria Island. In his own hands, or in the hands of his secretary. Inside the message was, I have learned, Honorable Don Sancho Panza, that some enemies of mine in that island are planning an attack of one of these evenings. My advice is to be on the alert to avoid surprises. I have also learned that 4 persons in disguise have entered the island with the intention of killing you. Take precautions. Pay attention to those who come to talk to you. Also, don't eat anything given to you. I will be prepared to come to your aid if necessary. This message is so urgent that it has been written at 4 a.m. Your friend, the Duke. Some news. Sancho turned to the butler and said, What we must do now is jail the doctor. If anyone is trying to kill me, it's got to be him. I'm also of the opinion, the butler said, that your honor should not eat the things on the table. Who knows, they may be poisoned. Well then, Sancho, bring me bread and grapes. I cannot go without food. I must be prepared for my battle. Okay. Now, what I want you to do, boys and girls, is I want you to read chapter 17 on your own. Okay. And if you need to pause to read, feel free to do so. Okay, I'm just going to slowly move it down. And then we'll read the rest of the 2 chapters next lesson. And I want you to pay attention to this chapter, guys. Sancho did prove that he was admired and that he was actually very smart, even though he didn't have a lot of common sense. Okay. Just a second here. Our test is going to be on Friday. Just as a reminder, I know I have mentioned it before, but it's not going to be questions from the actual story of Don Quixote. It's going to be just grammar and what we worked on last night. Okay. And I'll go over all of that again tomorrow in tomorrow's lesson when I record tomorrow night. Okay. So make sure you read chapter 17 for me. And when I get back on, we'll look at the last 3 chapters. We're almost done.